Hi, I'm Beth Zarkowski, and I'm working on a novel about the Amazons and the Sarmations. They have always fascinated me. This is the research I have found. Kazakhs, the word means free and independent nomad, on the steppes around the Black Sea beneath Russia, in one of the harshest weather places known to man, lived a ferocious tribe of nomad warrior women and their warrior men. The weather got as cold as minus 65 degrees Fahrenheit or as hot as 120 degrees Fahrenheit with intense winds. They herded their cattle of goats, horses, sheep, and camels as they traveled from pasture to pasture. They wore soft leather boots made from horse hide and wore Ushanka or Pythian hats with flaps to cover their ears. They used wool, silk, and leather for clothing. They lived in yurts, which are a round tent that is aerodynamic, made out of wool felt and decorated with patterns and geometric shapes. The colors of these dyes in the felt meant different things like life, death, and fertility. Their bodies were covered with tattoos of totems of defensive or predatory animals. They used a crescent-shaped shield and invented a double-headed axe in the shape of a butterfly. If they were attacked, it was with their husbands away in battle, and the women had to protect their homelands. They didn't seem to ride horses, and they didn't have any helmets or very much armor. They could use some chainmail and some horse hooves for armor, and it would give a reptile appearance. The women's ferocity was so great they were used by the Romans to help lead in their battles. In ceremonies, the priestess wore a pointy hat and carried a mirror. They had female deities, mostly like Artemis. They also had Ares. According to Janine Davis Kimball, an archaeologist, this was where the fear of the pointy hat started. From then on, anyone wearing a pointy hat was considered a witch. The steppes were grassy and barren and mountainous, and the lakes and glaciers were beautiful. Snow leopards, wolves, and bears, plus the harsh climate and the fact that they were vulnerable to attack coming from any direction, made living on the steppes very hard to do. This society was considered a matriarchal society. The Greeks made up stories about these women, warriors of the steppes, and named them the Amazons. These stories have long thought to be myth. Now, thanks to Jeanne Davis Kimball from America and other Russian archaeologists, 50 ancient burial mounds called kurgans near Pokrovka, Russia, near the Kazakhstan border, were unearthed, suggesting the Greek tales may have some basis in fact. These warrior women found are not the Amazons, but are a similar matriarchal tribe in that area. Since we don't have a time machine, we can't go back and get the accurate information. We have to go on the scant information that is out there. The Sarmation nomad buried their dead here beginning in 600 BC. Herodotus, the Greek historian, believed the Sarmatians were descendants of the Amazon and the Scythians who invented pants. This was the first place men got up on a horse's back. Horses were worshipped. Mare's milk was used for yogurt, cheese, and cookies. Fermented mare's milk, called kumis, was their alcohol. Horses were even eaten. They became proficient horseback riders and stunned many armies with their skills. They may have lived north of the Sea of Azov. The Pokrovka mounds were reused by the Sarmations, another nomadic tribe, maybe related to the Sarmations. The females of the burials were put to rest with a larger assortment of artifacts than the males, like iron daggers, swords, whetstones, and bronze arrowheads. The bow legs on the warrior's body say that she rode every day, and the bent arrowhead suggests she was killed in battle. The men were buried with the children, and the women were not. They believed in griffins because they found triceratops bones nearby. Their jewelry might have looked like triceratops with wings. Many totem animals and the tree of life were also depicted on their jewelry and plaques. The warrior women called Amazons intermarried with the Scythians, who were Iranian nomads. They moved northeast and settled in under Russia on the steppes and changed their name to Sarmations. Somehow the information is scant. The Sarmation culture changed its name to the Sarmations. It couldn't just be Sarmations, corrupted into an easier sounding name. Now they became traders and raiders and made a trip to the west, coming into contact with the Romans. They became less warlike and more wealthy in material goods according to the gold found in the burials. They traveled to the west and north of the Black Sea and conquered what is now Romania, and then it was called Dacia. 3rd century A.D., the Goths attacked them, and in 370 A.D., they were overtaken by the Huns and either killed or assimilated. Jean Davis Kimball DNA tested the Mongols that lived in Kakistan and believes that what remains of the Sarmation population can still be found there. These people call themselves Kakistaks. The Kakistaks are a patriarchal society. They are Orthodox Christian, Muslim, or Protestant, and others. They have many of the Amazon traits. They hunt with eagles, and the tradition has been going on for 1,000 years. They are great on horseback and are sometimes used in circuses. They have arranged marriages, and the tribe is of family members and family elders. Intertribal marriages brought security and peace. They banded together in extended family groups to battle the hardships of the environment and to protect their cattle and families. The elder are seen as wise and granted respect. One of their delicacies is boiled sheep's head, and they eat the whole thing. One of their favorite instruments is the dumbra. They are very superstitious. They also believe they can't drink anything cold because it will make them sick. So they drink cool, warm, and hot things. The apple tree originated there. Did you know horses love apples? In conclusion, the echo of the history remains within the people of the steppes, whether nomad or city dweller. Many of the Kakistan people are proud of their heritage and try to incorporate it into their lives even now. They will continue to ride horses, shoot arrows, put pictures of horses on their walls. They will use pictures or knickknacks of yurts for celebrations. They will continue to make the infamous rugs and clothing from history for exporting, and they will tell old fables and play the dumbra in celebrations while drinking plenty of kumis. And that's the end. Thanks. Bye.